Welcome to Shri and Kira Live, the voice of passionate action, bringing fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom for today's shifting paradigm. Now, it is your moment to open your mind, relax into your body and spirit as we explore the greater meaning of your now experience. Bringing wisdom, laughter, and clarity, here are Shri and Kira.
Well, namaste, beloved angels of divine light. Here we are in this illuminated October. Delighted to be with you. I am Kira Ra.
And I am Sri Ram Ka, and today we are with you.
Indeed we are. And you know, Sri, I just love that what we're diving into today is the gift, really the blessing and the energy, more importantly than anything, of oneness. And we're going to go way beyond this as a conceptual thing and dive into the living reality of oneness. And I just love the timing of this show because we've been through this stunning October lunar eclipse. We're in the middle of this profound Mercury retrograde. Everything's resetting to neutral. What a beautiful time to look at oneness, you know, because we're almost at our solar eclipse.
Oh, a solar eclipse brings a special energy for all of us to swim with.
I love swimming, especially this one coming right up October 23rd. It's just 4 days away.
You know, it's truly been a powerful year. 2014 has brought to all of us a momentum. Mm-hmm. And whether that momentum is increasing the experience of fear-based reality or whether it's increasing confirmation of your path of oneness, of living an illuminated life, you know, the universe is okay with either choice.
Right.
So the question is, are you okay with your choices?
I love, you know, Shri, that is the question, isn't it? And guys, hey, we are live and would look forward to hearing from you. And in just a few moments, we're going to be bringing on our amazing special guest. I am so excited to bring on this beautiful woman, Almine, who will be with us today. So if you want to get in the queue for questions or comments or mini soul readings, give us a buzz. Whether you're in the United States or Canada, 888-627-6008. Again, that's 888-627-6008. You can call in, you can Skype in, but get in the queue. We want to hear from you. You know, Shri, as we're talking about oneness and as we're so close to this really illuminated moment, this solar eclipse is coming up October 23rd. Mercury's going to start already turning back. Remember, by the 25th, it's direct. We'll be in the shadow till early November, but the beauty is that I want to discuss allness and oneness before we bring Almine into the show, because this is something that the Blue Starborn have talked about for several years now, and the unification process. And I believe that October 2014 is really demonstrating that. You know, we've joked around that October 14 is the month of kind of resetting everything to neutral.
Well, resetting is one way of looking at it. You know, we are beings of infinite opportunity and infinite expansion. And as we take our finite consciousness and relax it into the infinite recognition, we go through experiences along the way. And this is the stuff books are made of. This is the stuff poetry is trying to communicate. However, each and every moment is so precious.
Indeed.
And this October has brought with it a bit of a, call it a universal conspiracy in a good way. And that universal conspiracy is the planets, the heavens, the energies, all year long have been bringing forth increased momentum. And this October is kind of like the finale in many ways. Because as we transit through this time, we're really saying to the universe, okay, I'm going to ride this plane. I'm going to be with this wave for the next period of time.
Well, and also the unification. And this is why I wanted to talk about the allness and the oneness, because we're in this month that if you were to draw a symbol for the month of October, for me, it would be the traditional yin-yang symbol. This is the month of the yin-yang, of bringing it all back into balance and remembering in that traditional symbol that in the black part, there's always a little circle of white, and in the white part, there's still a little circle of the dark. And we started with this October 8th full moon lunar eclipse that was so powerful, building in the middle of this Mercury retrograde, seen to me as the spinning circle of energy, the yin-yang energy. Right. And we've been spinning, resetting, remembering, unifying as we come into this solar eclipse that's going to be happening on the 23rd, and then kind of writing. It's like we're in this process of unification. And the blessing of unification is it's where the allness unifies and we relax back into our oneness. It's such a powerful moment.
Allness and oneness are coexisting
Exactly.
in this world of opportunity. And for those of you that say, wait a minute, what are you doing
Help
with these
me.
words?
What does this all mean?
So let's just offer a little summary. Allness means just that. Everything is possible.
Right.
All forms of expression
Right.
are possible. All forms of tragic and blessed behaviors and experiences are possible.
Right.
And as a free will soul having a human experience, you truly could have any experience that this world could offer.
Well, I'm giggling. Well, okay, right. Well, I'm giggling because, the old saying, you really can have it all.
You can have it all.
Because you're here to have it all. And that's the unique blessing of allness as we reclaim our oneness, is that allness is the blessing of being here. You chose to be here because everything, without judgment, without limitation, without boundaries, the allness is expressing. And it's important to lift into an ascended consciousness, an ascended awareness, because it's only when we apply our judgments that things become overwhelming, that things become too challenging to look through.
And with judgment, we plop right back into the dualities.
Pop or drop.
Pop or drop. and so, beloved ones, as we talk about allness, which is truly the expression of this density and the opportunity of the soul to learn and discern, the oneness is an uplifting spiral of embrace.
It's a remembrance, isn't it?
Truly, truly. And to be able to look through the superficial differences of individuated expressions and to recognize the oneness that is dancing. I always like to tell people it's like you stuck your hand in a glove, and don't get hung up on individual fingers. Look at the whole glove here.
Well, okay, as long as... Or was there a critter in one of the fingers? I don't know.
I don't know. How fast is it wiggling?
It could be. But, Sri, I love where you're going with this. I truly love where you're going with this, because there's a lot of people out there just throwing the word oneness around. And this really brings us to our guest today and where we're going, because so many, there's the oneness. I'm going to say the oneness. I'm not going to use the word that they use. I'll just say there's schools of oneness, or you can go to certain places and train in oneness. Yet the reality is that angels, the oneness is the inherent blessing of who you are. And Shri and I have really, because we receive so much information from the angels, we receive so much information from the benevolent ones, from the Blue Starborn about oneness. We have not wanted to talk about this extensively on the show because it is it's extremely important that you remember yourself to oneness. And so when we look at oneness, it's about an energy, an upliftment, a remembrance, a reminder, a reconnection, a unification. And that really brings me to our beautiful guest today.
Absolutely. We're delighted today to be having a conversation with Almine, who is an amazing teacher, healer, orator, and a talented singer. And you're going to find her all over the web if you want to do a research. Her primary website is spiritualjourneys.com. And she has brought forward a comprehensive series of sacred teachings. She travels the world offering her transformative messages and truly is empowering individuals and enlivening their inspiration, their hope, their presence. And she continues to offer this service to this zone of learning that we're inhabiting.
Indeed. And one of the things that struck me is, as you all know, Almine's in the Sedona Journal of Awakening every month, as are Shri and I. And I happened to be looking at an issue a few months ago, and normally don't have the time to even look. But what caught me was the beauty, the energy, and the message, without knowing anything about it, that was coming in through her Calendar of Oneness. And I said to our show booker, I said, look, we have to have her on the show because this is singing. It's just, and I love that she's a singer because it's singing in so many levels.
Well, absolutely. And so we're delighted to bring this trailblazer and torchbearer of light.
And we caught up with her on the road. She's actually in Canada right now. So we're grateful she's with us.
And so, Almine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I have loved sitting here listening to you. So I'm almost loath to speak. It's extremely wonderful that you question the terms the way you do, because indeed people do bandy things around that are New Age terms without really comprehending the depth in many instances.
Absolutely. And
Beautifully
that's certainly
said.
something we want to talk about more with you.
And I want to share the smile, my angel. Just hearing your voice to me, it brings like tears to my eyes and such a smile. It is just so wonderful to connect with you. Thank you for the gift of being with us today.
Thank you, my sister. It's a remembrance indeed.
Yes, it truly is. And so let's dive in. I have to ask, because I know so many of our listeners are saying, I want to know, were you just born this amazing? Did you have a journey? Were you born awake? How did all this begin for you?
You know, there's a long story and a short story. I'm going to try and make an in-between story.
Okay.
And that is that I have this entire history of being born in South Africa and growing up a little girl with blonde pigtails on a little red tricycle and so on. And I went back there for the first time in many years. To my great consternation, my whole past broke up like a bad DVD. The images I saw in front of me, they broke up like an obsolete reality. And I started to work with a small group of students at the time, tracing past lives and finding how they actually lead in loops. And at that time, I realized that so much of what I thought had happened really for many of the major light bearers on the planet did not happen. They are memory implants. They give themselves for the sake of continuity. But they have been coming through tunnels of time, which is sort of our theme today. And I remembered after this whole past broke up that I actually came through a tunnel of time, body and all, around the age of 19. And you know what? This is the first time I've said this in public.
Well, thank you.
What
I'm hearing you say is the one that we are communicating with actually walked into this dimension at 19.
Yes. Not into the body, but into this dimension.
Yes. Yeah. What a beautiful experience. And this was upon a homecoming for you? This was when this touched for you?
I went to teach in South Africa. I have students there, and I thought, well, I'll go back to my childhood places, and found that really I'd never been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a metaphor here for all of us that, and especially as we're called to travel and to fulfill our intention for our birth here, that there are places on the globe that carry remembrances. There's places on the globe where we may have left a part of us behind, so to speak. And as we travel, we connect with our divine memories. At least that was my experience, as I found myself drawn to touch certain places on the globe. And I grew in strength and knowingness as a result. And so I just smile when I hear you share that you went back to touch your childhood and came back a different person, so to speak.
Well, and very much so. And what I'm enjoying hearing is that it seems as if you didn't doubt it. You had that level of sacred trust. Is that true, or am I misunderstanding?
No, I did not doubt it. There was no doubt. I could hardly speak my own home language. And then one day it just clicked back in again. But, my brother, what you are saying, I believe that where those places are some of the acupuncture points of the earth. I have been receiving a great deal of information about oneness and the meridians and the acupuncture points in man, and there were 2 acupuncture points missing that were called the resurrection acupuncture points that just recently revealed itself and ties in with something you said, my sister, about that oneness is that vital step to the next leg of the journey, and how those points are necessary. And I believe that the remembrances that you're saying are held in the acupuncture points of the planet, and the amount of acupuncture points correspond actually to our inner senses, and that is such an incredible number. It's 7 times 96. It's 672 special points around the earth.
Beautiful. I feel that, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are feeling that too, that even as you're sharing that, if I just allow myself and to relax into the energy of the information, the earth becomes this radiant being that actually starts showing us these points. What a beautiful gift.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well, this brings us to your calendar. I just have to share. You probably heard before you came on the show that when I normally don't. Not that I don't respect and honor, because we're in it, you're in it, we're all in it, but I normally don't have a lot of time to thumb through the Sedona Journal every month when it comes out. And yet this one month, I think it was the first month that you had a picture of it in there, there was like an electromagnetic pull to this. And all I had to do was look at it, and I found such beautiful emanations of energy coming from that calendar. And I'd love to hear more about how this came to be, why now? And let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, in 2012, I was very aware that much of what people were thinking were the ends of time, in very cataclysmic ways, was in fact the end of linear time. And that linear time is a bit like a record player, and each life is in a groove of this record going around and around. And so the future is the past is the future, and we're basically trapped in a matrix. And that what they were prophesying in the ending of their calendar was so profound, because it was saying, no, there's never an end. Life is a journey that has no end. But there is a transition to a different form of time. And I started to study the big in-breath, out-breath tube torus of space that contains this movement, like the record player, and realized that at some point we are transcending that particular shape as our cage that we've been in. The incubation chamber would no longer be necessary, and that it would indeed be the end of 2012. The end of 2012 was really a condition rather than a date. And the major light workers on Earth started in 2012, and I'm sure that you will find this in your own life, to receive such vast information that it stretched the tube torus. It stretched its diameter. So the end of 2012, where time literally stopped moving in the grooves of a record player, which is linear time, happened on the 13th of February, 2013. It was a way of preventing the cataclysms, to stretch it enough that so much perception would be gained that the outcome would be alleviated. And so time started moving differently, and it started to be centrifugal, like a pebble in a pond. And where all our pebbles intersect, this new potential releases. So the new way of time flowing created these time maps. And, you know, we can certainly, I have drawn the 3 time maps for this year that ends in February, the new year of the Chinese. February 15th of 2015, these time maps become obsolete. But they are such an incredible guidance system, because there is the marriage of individual choice and infinite intent. And you can finally see how that relates to one another. And so the calendar of oneness maps the currents that flow rather than the journey of linear time, the way that the Zolkin used to do.
Beautiful. I love that phrase that it marries the individuated choice with the oneness intent.
Yeah, the infinite intent. I love that. Yeah.
Because that captures the dynamic of the paradox right there.
Well, it does. And it also captures what I enjoy, Almine, is that the way that you've put this together, the way that you've just really relaxed and allowed the beauty to flow through you, is it's really a calling card to those who have been saying, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And that what I experience when I spend time with this is an energetic familiarity that offers a sense of reassurance and upliftment. You know, there's this recognition that happens on both levels there. And as linear time, and we're smiling as you talk about 2012, because Shri and I live in Guatemala, and one of the things that we were trying to do during 2012 was to assist as many people as possible to realize exactly, as a matter of fact, in our books, we say almost identically what you just said, that this was the end of linear time as we know it. And so a very powerful tool to bring bring forward to assist people with these cycle changes or these flows of the cycles, I think is a much more accurate way to describe it.
I am so glad to hear this. I felt like a voice in the desert waving a little flag, you know.
We understand.
I am delighted to hear that.